I thought we'd have a chat about our narrowboat experience this year.
Yeah, a chin wag. It's good to me.
Because we're back now, and I hope you've enjoyed our lovely adventures. That's the Board Explorer, and I'm the lovely Julia. Not really, obviously. Obviously. So we're back home, and this is our debrief. I remember we did a bit of a debrief last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Where we were sort of just thinking about how it all worked. Very different this time, obviously, because we had technical issues and we had two boats, neither of which were really the ideal size.
No, I mean, there were benefits. There were definitely benefits to having a larger boat.
What are the benefits?
Well, we had two suites.
Oh yes, that's true.
You know, a forward suite and a rear suite.
Well, now you mentioned that, because I remember I slept often. I didn't bother to put the mattress or the table down and the side, you know, the mattress. I slept on the seat, in other words, on the first journey. The first time we did it last year.
Yeah.
This time I had a place to myself.
We had choices. We had loads of bunks to choose
and
from.
even Joe had his own little cabin,
bunk, yeah.
effectively, a bunk, yeah. And there were two loos, so I could have one.
The first boat had two showers too.
Yeah, we did have to have a shared shower. Not like that, but a shared place. Whereas, as you say, the first boat was great, and I regret that we didn't really do very much on showing the interior of the boats, either of them. And I did mention it in one of the videos that I would do that, but
we never really unpacked properly though, so we had stuff everywhere.
Yeah, in the odd brief moments that you see the inside of the boat, right, running through, there's bags and all this. Well, I think mainly because we'd got that idea that everything was very temporary.
Yeah, we couldn't really settle.
In case we were to go and get on a bigger boat. You know, one the length of the canals.
Yeah.
Push all the other boats off. But yeah, so boat issues was something, and actually now I've edited most of the videos at this point. It's funny how the business about the lack of heating, the inverter, we had no water at one point, none of that really came out in the videos. It's downplayed more than our updates, our little YouTube updates while we were there.
Yeah.
So in the videos we downplay that quite a bit, but actually that was a major thing in the mornings, getting up.
It was quite tough getting up in a cold boat.
Yeah.
Luckily I'd had loads of blankets for Jojo, so I had him in a baby sleep bag and loads of blankets on top, so he was okay. I'm glad I did take that sleep bag, because he'd have been shuffling out of that every night.
Yeah, that was a brilliant little funny thing. And I was quite helpful, wasn't I, with Joe at night time?
You were absolutely helpful.
I mean, he didn't really wake, as far as I know,
Yeah.
He didn't wake up much. I think there was one night he woke up and I made tea and stuff.
Yeah. We both ended up getting up, didn't we? No, yeah, you were very, very helpful. Thank you very much.
No, I wasn't looking for compliments on that. So, take out the technical thing. Problems. What are some of your highlights?
Driving the boat.
I mean, it was a real challenge, wasn't it?
It was a real challenge, and I mean, I do like the saying, if it ain't a challenge, is it even worth it? And it sure was a challenge. And with a boat that size, they do expect it's going to get bumped about a bit. I mean, in some cases, the weirs going back up the locks, the weirs can be so strong that you can overcompensate all you like, but that bow's going to get out of hand, and you're going to have to just wedge the front end in and just ding 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 ding.
And some of the bridges that you managed to line it up, and you described it as
threading the needle.
Threading the needle, and it really was like that, because it's such a long boat. And some of those bridges, although the bridges are wide, what maybe some people didn't appreciate is there's an underpass for what would have in the day been the horse. So that almost takes another third of the bridge space. And then so you've got this channel under the bridge, which is less than a foot.
Yeah, inches wider than the boat in a lot of cases.
And so you really have to get, and if you can get a little way in, perhaps, but anything other than 100% straight is going to scrape the side, and then
and they're often on a slant as well.
Yeah.
So you have to like really angle yourself.
that it was. I mean,
It's interesting.
yeah, I had a couple of bridges that I had to go on the last second to last day, the penultimate day. I did a bit more driving, and there was the canal sometimes goes along like this, and then there's this turning, and then there's the bridge, and you think there's not enough room to actually straighten the sodding boat up. But it was fun.
I had fun when having to drop you off for locks, before locks and things, because at first I wasn't giving myself enough distance between dropping you off and entering the lock, so I would end up having to reverse back up
Right.
so I could line myself up better.
So you dropped me off earlier
Yeah.
and make me run further.
Well, unfortunately, that's
No, but that was it. For me, one of the fun things about doing that, locks are fun, and I know some people might think, oh, they're a bit tedious because you've got to go through them. I really loved the challenge when we came to the 3 or 4 consecutive ones, whereupon you do that thing as you open the gate, and while the boat's coming into lock number 1, say the top lock, you might have 2 or 3 more that you run ahead to the next lock, get that one open, come back, wind it so that whilst you're floating, I can run to the 3rd lock and get that one prepped up.
Filled or whatever needs doing.
And you'd sort of feel that a lot of novices would do one lock and then come out, then stop, and then get you think, well, that's a really cack-handed way of doing it.
Yeah. But that's all down to experience, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And we didn't do any locks really to speak of. We did one on the way back on our trip last year.
Yes.
And then this year we did. Well, I'm just trying to think. There was about 7 or 8 one way, and
it's
then
funny
7
because coming back up those, I'm sure it was only 7 locks, maybe 7. There was about 7 locks, and honestly, we were lucky enough to have assistants going back up them. Two lovely volunteers.
Volunteers, yeah. And it was good that they were there, because we were a little bit stressed because we were trying to get back to the basin to get our final checks done, and at the same time, so it was handy for speed, but at the same time I felt a bit robbed of...
Yeah, but you got a bit more filming done though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was that it felt like they had a 3rd and 4th person running on ahead and creating new locks on the way back up.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just seemed never ending. It's like,
Did
we really come through this many?
Yeah, it really did seem... And because...
We just got into such a flow on the way down. It just
Yeah,
felt
and
like
I don't
that.
know whether it was because... there's a different feeling, isn't there, when you're going down a series of locks than when it's coming up. And I know you said, oh, I need to grab the camera because I wanted to talk about a certain bit going down into the thing. And I said, well, I'll give it to you on the way back. And you said, yeah, but it's different. And I hadn't appreciated that.
Well, these are all things we can catch next time.
So we've thought and chatted about
Next
ways
time.
that we could... Yeah, no, definitely. I want to get a camera, not just for the next Canal thing, but a Julia camera, so that you get your own GoPro and microphone all set in, so you've got one on board and I can get one, because being able to film each other instead of just having this one thing that we occasionally pass, and of course I was major filmmaker thing, I think that would be great, so to share, because you all get stuff and also add your POV.
Yeah, I mean, I do in hindsight wish I'd at least written a log, a skipper's log, because the very first canal boat trip I did as an adult, I did exactly that.
Oh, did
and
you?
Even now, I love it. I never did finish it by putting in the photos and things. Maybe one day I'll get around to that. But yeah, to do something like that would be good, and even to vlog it.
Yeah, no, definitely, because I think that the few bits that you did do really just add to it, because I'm in it a lot, because I talk a lot, but then I'm used to doing that. I know, but that's my game, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it would be great to get you to be more open to do that, give you a camera so you can also do stills as well, and then that way we get much more... a broader
broader perspective.
Perspective, exactly, yeah. So we've learnt lots from doing it. We still got this bee in our bonnet about potentially owning a boat.
Yeah.
Because it's something I think we're both very passionate about. Now I know that, you know, we are two independent people, and you've got your family and I'm at the moment on my own. But I think that it could still work.
Yeah, I mean, being a bold explorer boat, I mean, you could even go so far as to have, you know, members of the group
Absolutely.
come and partake,
Yeah.
you know, and
No, I mean,
have
it
a
would
working holiday or whatever.
It would be great to get old Mr. Suggett on, or Mr. Holdsworth, or whatever, Mr. English on board, because you could different dynamics with different people. So yeah, and I think there's potential in that. So, you know, there's things going on in the back of my mind.
Also meeting up with other
boaters,
other boater YouTubers,
yeah,
like Fran and Rich.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, having them, you know, whispering in our ears on WhatsApp was a massive godsend, wasn't it?
We set up the, well, I think they set up the
Fran did.
a WhatsApp group called
Floating Our Vobes. Very clever lady.
So yeah, when we were in difficulty, we could say, look, what do we do? And very calmly, Fran and Rich just gave us some very good, sensible advice, and it made everything so much smoother. So I mention it a couple of times within the series of videos that we've done, but a big thank you to them. But also the other people we want to thank.
Absolutely, massive thanks to all the patrons who made this possible, and gave me another chance to drive the boat for this one.
Yeah, I mean, this whole Bald Explorer YouTube, Facebook video series of whatever we do is all down to the patrons, and we're very, very thankful for them, because I couldn't run this without the support. Now I know that a lot of people watch this and they don't give anything, and that's just the nature.
That's fine too.
That's the nature of the beast, and people just put comments and all the rest of it. Not everybody is that way inclined, or
not everybody wants to get involved.
No,
you know.
but
that's okay too.
Absolutely, but those that do, yeah.
Much gratitude to those that do patronise you.
Yeah, and we hope that you continue to do it. But we hope more than that
you enjoyed what we
yes, that you enjoy, you get something back, and that
everything we enjoyed it for you.
Yes, we endured it for you, and we hope that we can.
That doesn't sound right.
No,
but you know what we mean.
They know what you mean, and we hope that we can carry on doing more. I think one thing I've cut away from editing this piece is what I like is that sense of adventure and the televisual nature of this particular series, and I'd like to expand that and do more, but with more adventures, and if things go wrong, it's all part of it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Even though, you know, there are moments when we did have curse words, and, you know, get a bloody boat over there, that's an order. But the less said about that,
order me, hey.
the less said about that, the better, really. We had some very humorous off-camera moments. One where we were sitting up having a sort of last night drink, and the boat's banging against the side.
Yeah, that was so funny that evening. Because the first night we'd been tucked up nicely, snug against the big soft cushiony, you know, big soft wet, moist
meadow. It was, wasn't it? A meadow bank.
Earth.
Yeah.
Earth and
Earth
bank. So yeah, it was quiet that night. But then the next evening we were up against the hard moorings.
Yes, just outside the lock.
So every time the boat moves, you get a crunch, crack, or a bump, you know.
And because there was a weir right next to us,
and
on the
we're on a
opposite
river with all the currents.
so we were
eddies.
banging against the side.
And every time I'd hear, from wherever he was in the boat, I'd hear a crikey.
Every time there was a bang, I'd think, crikey.
Yeah, and he'd exclaim very loudly, crikey.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I chuckled every time, because I had this flash of, it was almost a meme in my head of Steve Irwin, you know, having an animal react in the way that he said it would when he did the thing he said he would do. Yeah, funny.
Crikey.
Crikey.
Anyway, on that note, thank you so much for watching this and all of that. We will try our best to do some more adventures and things. We've thoroughly enjoyed it despite all the issues, and we hope you have too. Do give us your comments. Tell us your best bits, what bits you like, what bits you'd like to see more of in the comments below. That would be fantastic.
I'd also like to thank the boatyards, for both boatyards,
and
for
yeah,
looking after us and
Anglo-Welsh,
getting us out on the water.
Anglo-Welsh, although we said you know,
he said some terse things
at the time, but to be honest, Rob and Pete, the engineers who came out, absolutely fantastic guys, and it really made the trip, chatting to them and learning about their lives and how they got into it while they were down in the bloody sump oil trying to fix our stuff. So they absolutely, Julia, you were quite right. They really made it added to us, and they said, "I hope this hasn't marred your enjoyment." And I said, "Do you know, knowing the things that can go wrong has been a real good eye opener, because if we want to own a boat, we need to know that stuff." And yeah, it was great to meet them.
Yeah.
So there we go. Thank you so much, and we'll be out and about doing your usual nonsense in the future. But in the meantime, don't forget to follow, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, and become a patron if you haven't. Support what we do, and we'll see you next time. From us in my little cosy kitchen with the Esse on.
Lovely hugging Esse.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Right, I'm going to have another cup of tea. How about you?
I've still got one.
Oh, lovely.